Here we are, 1 year since our first ever COVID-19 lockdown, once again locked up in our houses. It's a very sad situation that's going on in the country right now. My thoughts are with everyone who are going through difficult times. I hope every one of us come out of this catastrophe stronger and wiser. And while we are locked up in here, you know that the book reader in me has only one thing to do, which is read, read, and read. So I would like to take you through the books that I plan to read during the next 14 days of lockdown in Karnataka. Since you are still here after the intro, I think that you really like me and my content. So while you're at it, please don't shy away from subscribing to my channel and also like and share to people whom you think might like bookish contents. First book in the list is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It's a powerful and beautiful reimagination of the story of Iliad, especially focusing on the Trojan War. I have to admit that I have tried to read Circe by Madeline Miller from the same author. I really liked it in the beginning, but I couldn't find the motivation to complete it because I was kind of bored halfway through and I DNF'd it. So I was very skeptical about this book. But then when I checked for online reviews, I found out that this book is way ahead of Circe and a different ball game altogether. So I decided that why not give it a try, because so many people are gushing over this book on Goodreads. I read a review which was so interesting, which sealed the deal for me, which went like this: when I die, bury my ashes with this book. And if somebody has to be so emotional about a book, then I thought that, I should give it a try. Also been warned by many reviewers that not to go into this book expecting great lyrical prose like that of the saga that is Iliad, but Miller has used very simplistic language, which does the job of telling the story of Achilles in a very beautiful way. And I'm more interested in to see how the homosexual love story is being handled in the book, because in the movie Troy, the makers very conveniently avoided that controversial topic. I love to explore diverse love stories, be it bisexual, be it homosexual or pansexual. It's interesting for me. I'm a huge fan of Sense8 in that respect. So I hope to really enjoy this book. Second book in this list is a popular science book called What If by Randall Munroe. Randall Munroe was a physicist at NASA, and he resigned his job in 2005 to start his own website. Now, his website is basically a web comic which offers you a witty take on the world of science and geeks, and it's extremely popular. I will provide the link to the website in the description below. In this book, he tries to answer silly sounding absurd questions using the scientific method or the critical method. He runs computer simulations, refers to stacks and stacks of declassified military research papers, and solves differential equations, and holds interviews with nuclear reactor operators to arrive at his conclusions. And it's really funny and witty. I just had a browse through it, and what I found really hilarious is a disclaimer which he has provided in the beginning of the introduction of the book, which goes like this: do not try any of this at home. The author of this book is an internet cartoonist, not a health or safety expert. He likes it when things catch fire or explode, which means he does not have your best interest in mind. The publisher and the author disclaim responsibility for any adverse effects resulting directly or indirectly from information contained in this book. Some of the questions are: what would happen if absolutely everyone jumped at the same time? How long could a nuclear submarine last in space? What are the odds of meeting my soulmate? What if my DNA vanished? How could we build a Lego bridge between London and New York? And one more question: from what height would you need to drop a steak for it to be cooked when it hit the ground? It's funny. There are a lot of cartoons and illustrations to explain his answers and solutions. It's my kind of book. Next up is a content heavy, socially relevant, serious book, which is the global bestseller Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, The Lies That Divide Us. This was selected in Oprah Winfrey Book Club, and she was gushing about this book, and she was so impressed by this book and touched by this book that she's been shipping hundreds of copies of this book to many of her celebrity friends. In the backdrop of what's happening right now in the world, especially in America with the Black Lives Matter movement, and in India with the Dalit movement, etc., this book is extremely relevant. What Wilkerson tries to do in this book is to understand America's racial problem by understanding the oppressive systems that existed in Nazi Germany and also that still exist in India in the form of caste system. I think while trying to understand this whole topic, Isabel Wilkerson understood that there is no existing language or epistemology which can accurately describe the fundamental problems existing in the whole system of racism. Of course, I haven't read this book, so I cannot review it much more than this. While researching for this video, I found a nice review by Ashika Dutt in foreignpolicy.com. I will link that in the description. It's very interesting take on this book from the perspective of a Dalit reader. I just want to read out a small excerpt from that essay. It goes like this. Wilkerson's radical framing of racial injustice as a system of caste, aligning the struggles of Black Americans with those of Dalits, elevates thousands of years of Dalit trauma and struggle into the global spotlight in a single swoop. And that's a great achievement, and I would like to thank Isabel Wilkerson if that has been achieved. Staying with the topic of caste, next up is a book by an Indian Tamil author, Perumal Murugan, and the book is called One Part Woman. The story is based in colonial era India, Tamil Nadu, and tells the struggle of a couple who is trying to conceive and the story of what they go through in that attempt of theirs to have a child. And it's a fictional story. However, there are references to certain practices that were said to have existed in the past, but there are no written evidences as such, but were handed down orally. So what happened is casteist right-wing fanatics claimed that the novel's depiction of extramarital sex during the Ardhanarishwara festival that happens in one of the temples is kind of an insult to their deity and the women in their caste. Obviously, men make the decision for women all the time, everywhere, and also on behalf of gods. So yeah, they are actually, men are the almighty in our society, right? Because they understand who is insulted and who is not. Anyways, after a lot of protest and a lot of burning of books, Perumal Murugan agreed to unconditionally apologize, and he also agreed to withdraw all the copies of his books as well. And he was so affected by this that he wrote that he is committing a literary suicide, and the writer that you know as Perumal Murugan is dead. That's how much this affected him. However, there were several cases going on in the High Court of Madras. When the final verdict came, it was in favor of the author, and I would like to read out a part of the verdict which is very, very important and was a victory for the free speech in India. So the verdict was delivered in July 2015 by Chief Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, and he said this: "The choice to read is always with the reader. If you do not like a book, throw it away. All writings unpalatable for one section of the society cannot be labeled as obscene, vulgar, depraving, prurient, and immoral. The author and artist like him cannot be under a constant apprehension that if he deviates from the oft-treaded path, he will face adverse consequences. Let the author be resurrected to what he is best at, right." And thus, the writer in Perumal Murugan was resurrected, and we got many other books from him as well. Since it's only a list of books that I want to finish in 14 days, I have selected a novella as well, which is just 130 pages or so. And this is the Hugo Award-winning novella from Brandon Sanderson by The Emperor's Soul. I don't know what the story is about, and I didn't read a synopsis because it's just a small book, a short story kind of book. I decided that I will get into it straight without reading any reviews or synopsis, but I know that people have rated this high in Goodreads. That's The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. Those are the books that I want to read in the coming 14 days of lockdown. They were physical books. Apart from reading physical books, I actually do listen to audiobooks as well while I'm doing household chores like doing the dishes or cleaning the house, washing clothes, etc. I actually have been listening to a lot of crime thrillers by Rachel Kane and Greg Olson, etc. So I will be listening to some of the crime thrillers. Maybe I will list them down in my wrap-up videos. But I can tell you that I just started Truth and Lies by Caroline Mitchell just today morning, and so far it's so good. Before I let you go for today, I want to show you a series of books that might be quite interesting for you if you're not a heavy reader, but you would like to understand certain topics. You would like to understand and learn new topics, but you do not want to invest so much time. So there is this series of book called the Introducing Book series, which are heavily illustrated graphic guide. So they pick up a topic and they use illustrations and cartoons to explain the topic. So the first one I want to show you, I have many out here, but I've just chosen 3 of them to show you now. First one is Introducing Evolution, a graphic guide. So you can see when you open it, it's heavily illustrated and very simple explanations given. The history of the topic, everything will be included. It's very easy to understand for a layman. Even a stupid person like me can understand the topic. Next one is Introducing Quantum Theory, a graphic guide. You can see Schrodinger's cat here. And since from Big Bang Theory to the Avengers and pseudoscientist and Deepak Chopra, everybody uses the word quantum theory for anything and everything. I thought that this would be a nice recommendation for you to read during this lockdown. Like I said, it's very nicely explained with a lot of illustration and simple English. The third one that I selected is again science related, which is Relativity, a guide. So yeah, here you can see again wonderful, beautiful illustration. You can see Einstein here. Yeah, so that's my reading plan for the upcoming 14 days of lockdown. I hope you guys stay safe, stay indoors, step out only if needed. Take care of each other, take care of yourself. See you soon in another video. Bye bye.